What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Mikasa Sukasa. As usual, I am your host, Nico House. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is that you start listening to this. Hopefully, it'll be one of your first podcast this morning, or if you're listening to it on the way out of work, that's perfectly fine also. Just make sure you tune in for the whole thing, because well, it's we always get a little bit deeper as we go. Some people will listen to the beginning like, oh, I know what he's about to say, but we change it up sometimes. You never know what you're gonna miss if you don't listen to the whole thing. So just go ahead and press the play button and just let it ride out. So as usual, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons. Without you, of course, none of this would be possible. And if you have not yet, make sure you go and visit the MCSC Network website. Can I pat myself on the back along with patting the back of my colleagues that work with me on MCSC? We have been doing really, really great for our first week with the website. I am constantly working on it, so like there are little improvements that you're going to see made throughout the month, but I would say that we've had several articles that have already gone viral just from the website. One that Caitlin Johnstone has written, one that I have written. We had one of our sports guys. He had an article that had maybe 500 shares or 600 shares, which is pretty awesome, especially considering that, like I said, the website really hasn't been up for about as far as access to the public, we've only had it open for about a week, a little bit more than a week now. So it's really awesome to see that you all have been so engaged in it. For me personally, there's been a lot of people who have been engaging with the website who have no idea who we are, which makes me believe that the content that we're putting out is well worth it. It's good content. People are sharing it, and people like the website. So I'm glad that you all have been enjoying it thus far. I hope that we continue to impress and bring you all the news that you are asking for. So I just had to do a PSA, public service announcement, people. I don't know. Can I be honest with you? I don't really care about Donald Trump's love life. Is that crass of me to say? Does that make me insensitive to the issue? I don't know, but I do know this. I didn't know who Stormy Daniels was before Donald Trump got elected, and I don't care who she is now. What I care about is the fact that Illinois was subject to a lot of election rigging by the Democratic Party during the Democratic primaries. That is something that I feel should be national news, if not international news, because of the fashion that it happened. You had a candidate in Marie Newman who lost 1,000, excuse me, no, not 1,000. She lost by 1,000 votes, but she ended up losing close to 4,000 votes for her establishment opponent to win. We just had Congress vote to continue to fund Saudi Arabia, so that they can continue to run a ridiculous assault on the Yemeni people. That was news for all of a half of a day. Bolton just came into office. We just saw Trump bring in a notorious war hawk. And for some reason or another, this is not considered news. Or at least it was for about a half a day. Meanwhile, I just Googled Stormy Daniels, because this is going to be the first article that I've read about her in on a serious note, because I refuse to entertain the mainstream media's provocation of just what do they call this? Oh, they call it not red journalism, maybe blue. I don't know, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Whenever journalists write articles that have, it's just pretty much just sleaze, and that's what this is. We I know for a fact that there is like a moral outrage that the left feels the right should have, given that Donald Trump did cheat on his wife. But also, I'm not naive. And if you don't know, not only is most of your establishment politicians on the right cheating on their wives, but a lot of them are gay also, right? And a lot of them are cheating on their wives with like prostitutes. If you don't remember the Republican convention of 2016 or 2015, I guess it was. No, maybe it was 2016, early 2016. The homosexual prostitutes said they had never experienced a bigger surge in business. Okay, so looking for moral outrage is like, at this point, it's becoming like, when are we going to get down to the actual issues, right? Why are y'all talking about Stormy Daniels? I get that it was cool for all of a day. It was funny, I guess. It's like, oh God, can you believe a rich billionaire male has sexual relations outside of marriage? I can't believe it. That's never been something that we're accustomed to in the United States. That's news to us. All the white guys out here, all the rich white guys, like, oh man, the audacity of Donald Trump. Oh, babe. Hey, sugar dumpling. I would never do something like that. Never even considered it. That guy is an anomaly. That's what he is. He's anomalous, that Donald Trump. I keep it in my pants until I get home. I bet you that. No, rich white guys have been cheating on their wives for history. The whole thing with the mistress came from powerful men who have a lot of money being able to essentially do what they want to. This is not news. But when I type in, I go to CNN, the first headline I shouldn't see is Stormy Daniels' lawyer seeks to depose Donald Trump and Michael Cohen. It says Stormy Daniels attorney Michael Avenatti has filed a motion in federal court seeking to depose President Donald Trump and his lawyer Michael Cohen to ask about a $130,000 payout before the 2016 election. In the motion filed in federal court in California, Avenatti requested to depose both Trump and Cohen, who was added this week as a defendant in the lawsuit, for no greater than 2 hours. I don't know what the hell that is. But the request also asked for targeted requests for the production of documents directed to Mr. Trump and Mr. Cohen on various topics related to the hush agreement. Like politicians paying off people who had sex with them. Like, I know why people think that this is a huge deal. I don't agree with what Trump did. At all whatsoever, actually. I think you better own up to it. I mean, and I'm really even surprised that he paid anybody off, considering this is the same guy that said he can shoot somebody dead in the street and not have to face any consequences. But I'm not exactly sure why he had to pay her off. I don't think that he should have paid her off. Obviously, he should not have cheated outside of his marriage. But at the same time, wall-to-wall coverage of Stormy Daniels. People are pretending as if Stormy Daniels, for a $130,000 payout, apparently, they think that this woman is going to be what brings down Donald Trump. But what I think is, I don't think they believe that, of course. But there are people out there who do. If you look on Twitter, there are people who think that Stormy Daniels will be the end-all, be-all of Donald Trump. Can you believe that? And people, you can tell who hasn't been in politics that long. I'll tell you that. You think of a man cheating on his wife, a politician cheating on his wife is going to be what brings him down. You better look. We know everything that JFK did, and probably not even everything, let's be frank, but we know enough about what JFK did. especially regarding his brother, his brother, and Marilyn Monroe, that little trio of love. And yet, that man's still revered as one of the best presidents of all time. So if you think a love affair is going to stop people from worshiping Trump like he's a damn deity, then you are sadly mistaken, people. Look at how quick the establishment forgot about Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. By the time it got down to it, when it was the time to decide between Bernie and Hillary and Trump and Hillary, it went from, Bill Clinton's a bad man for doing what he did, using his power to take advantage of that young woman. It went from that to, well, we should stay out of their marriage. Which I mostly agree. We should stay out of their marriage. It's not our business. I agree with that. So why is this now our business? Oh, because he's the president now. Bill Clinton was the president when he did what he did. So there's that. He was the president when he did what he did. But like I said, my issue isn't that they covered the story. If you cover it one time, it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? I'm not saying don't report the news. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is, to me, it looks like because you're running out of news for Russiagate, that you're coming up with things to keep the public speaking out against Donald Trump. Because you in order to keep him negatively trending in the minds of Americans, you have to push a certain narrative. And of course, when you push certain negative narratives on Twitter and Facebook, and then of course the old things start coming back up. So in order for the algorithms to continue to funnel, to perpetuate the echo chamber that they've been using to try and win in 2018, 2020, then they would have to do this. So if anything, this doesn't prove anything new about politicians. Politicians are cheaters. Martin Luther King cheated on his wife. Good God. Like, who's safe at that point, right? Man was a pastor. A pastor and a civil rights activist who was very in love with his wife, on top of that. Also, let's be honest, I don't know what Melania, I don't know what she expected out of Donald Trump. I'm sure it wasn't much. So let's be clear there as well. But I truly believe that this is them gasping for air. The March for Our Lives was another attempt. It was another attempt to gasp for air. Like in California, it was supposed to be a nonpartisan event. That's one of the, what did I tell you all? I don't like placing blame when two parties both share the blame. I mean, blame the Republicans for taking money from the NRA, then we better blame the Democrats for taking money from the manufacturer level. We better blame both of them, because they are not only taking the money from both of those entities during the general election, during the primary elections, but they're even taking it after the elections are over, when they're sitting on committees deciding whether or not legislation gets pushed through. But you gotta think, when have they had a successful headline? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm actually doing a video about this. A video about this very, very thing, people. You would think that with all of the hoopla, that, and they're registering kids at these marches, getting that blue wave out. They're doing it in California. Well, I got some bad news for y'all. It doesn't matter at all. I'm going to explain to you why. If you don't understand how elections work, the Democrats win California every single time. So registering people in blue states where these blue marches were, they're not going to do you very good. And they don't even understand the logistics of how this stuff works at this point. It seems like even Bernie said it himself. He said, don't trust political consultants. There was a poll taken the other day by Fox News. And I'm actually going to do a video about this, but it said that although Donald Trump was in the Republicans were not viewed they were actually viewed highly unfavorably coming out of 2017 going into 2018. This recent poll, and I'm going to go into detail about the sample sizes and all of that in the video, but this recent poll looked at like the job that he was doing, how they feel about Trump and the Congress people on the issues. The gap is closing. It's at like 48% for a lot of them. Now, do you understand what that means politically? Politically and strategically, that means you're losing if you're the Democrats. Well, how do we know that? Well, remember, there were polls that said the Democrats were looking substantially in better shape than the Republicans were. Obviously, and namely Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. They thought that Hillary Clinton had a 99.9% chance of winning, and they got obliterated. So with these polls, they got 48, 48 to 51-ish, 52-ish, a couple of points for margin of error. But with these polls, they're saying that despite everything that's happened, and this is a poll, a national level poll, by the way. And if anything, if I know Fox News, because you can take the poll with a grain of salt, and I would have no problem with that. It came from Fox News, but CNN has no problem releasing their polls. So, we're going to quote polls. Let's quote polls, because only one, I know the Fox News poll was accurate when predicting Trump. And it's because of the demographic that they reach out to. I'm going to be honest with you. The Rust Belt and the Midwest is what will determine 2018 and 2020, specifically 2020. But that's a fact. And if you don't think so, do your research. Hillary Clinton got beat in Wisconsin. She got beat in Michigan. She got beat in Kansas. She got beat in Ohio. Missouri, obviously Missouri. I think she even lost Arkansas. So if I was going to trust a poll, it would probably be the one that's biased towards upper working class, Midwestern Rust Belt, Tornado Alley-esque white people, because that's going to be who determines who wins the election next year. Or, well, I guess it is next year. Everybody starts campaigning in 2019. Yeah. Let's see, one poll, 99.9% chance of winning, gets obliterated. The other poll, Fox News actually did do a poll. They predicted that Hillary Clinton would lose during the Democratic primary. They said if Hillary Clinton loses, based off of, and they had actually a lot of facts behind it. They said if Hillary Clinton loses, based off of what we know in the past, and they showed all the polls and all her past races, and they compared them all. They said she doesn't have the popularity. The only time she's been able to win a race is if she's ridiculously popular than the other candidate, as in they don't even know who the other candidate is. And then that even held true with Bernie Sanders, and she only barely won, and we know that was, fabrication. It was a facade of an election. But they have to do this. The Democrats have to do this. They think that this stuff is going to be what wins them an election. I don't understand. Why can't you just say, we're going to work our hardest for single payer health care? We're going to work our hardest to try to stay out of unnecessary wars or quagmires, if you will. Why can't you just say it? You could win if you would just say, we're going to stop, we're going to speak out against police brutality. We're going to speak out for the working class and pass legislation, speak out against this ridiculous minimum wage fight that we're having that shouldn't even exist. Why can't you just say it? Because your donors don't want to. Why can't you say you're going to ban fracking? Why can't you say you're going to protect our environment? If you would say these things, even in the Midwest, they would vote for you because their jobs depend on the environment. But no. Gotta please those donors. Gotta please those donors. The Russiagate myth. How many? The 17 intelligence agencies fell through the thing. The 13 Russian indictments are going to lead nowhere. Some of those people don't even work here. Some of those people don't even live in this country anymore. I mean, we can every Russia quote unquote breakthrough that they thought. Remember when Flynn was going to testify against Donald Trump? Yeah, that fell through. The Fusion GPS story is coming to light. Even BuzzFeed is in the process of suing the DNC. Y'all want to blame election fraud on the Russians. And meanwhile, Tim Canova is in the process of subpoenaing ballots that were destroyed by Snipes, who lives right here in good old Sunshine State of Florida. I don't think she speaks Russian either. Ray Lutz is in the process of doing the same thing in Colorado. There was another major case in Alabama that was just won. And all these cases didn't involve Russians. So what's the deal, people? What's the deal? When are we going to start seeing you all talk about change instead of focusing on something as stupid and inconsequential as Donald Trump cheating on his wife with a porn star? Unfortunately, it's not really that out of character for people in his position. Is it nice? Is it okay? I don't think it's okay that he did that. But from a political and strategic perspective, it's inconsequential. It won't reshape the outcome of 2018 and 2020. So how about we get back to the issues? Let's realign our focus and talk about how the Democratic Party is utterly failing. Let's talk about the rampant censorship that has been coming from Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, shadow banning and blocking and all kinds of nonsense. Demonetization. Let's talk about all these things that will actually affect us and will affect the election. Let's talk about the fact that the Democratic Party has become the party of the deep state. Let's talk about those things. How about we talk about putting a candidate that represents the needs and the will of the people versus putting up an establishment crony that looks appealing, that you can reach as many ethnic demographics with as possible? How about we stop doing that? How about we start putting out the best candidate? Maybe you start doing that, you can actually have a chance to win. But until then, you'll keep having to listen to me complain about how stupid you are and laughing at you after another perpetual failure, which it looks like that failure is imminently coming in 2018, considering that y'all are already on the road to cheating progressives. So you've clearly not learned your lessons. If you want to know what I mean, look at Illinois. Look at Marie Newman's election in Illinois, Will and Cook County. She's running for U.S. House of Representatives and got cheated by Lipinski for more than 3,000 of her votes gone, close to 4,000. Leave your thoughts in your comments below, people. I'd love to know what you think about this. Like I said, go ahead and visit the website if you can. Support the show and support the network by going to www.patreon.com/mikase Mikase su casa. Hey, smile. It's a good day. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm sure where some of you are, it's pretty cold, but you're alive, you're breathing. It's all good, people. I know it's been a stressful year. I feel like it's coming down on a lot of us too. Okay, I'm right there with you. But hey, you find your balance, you'll be all right. There's a lot of positives to look forward to. Let's look on the bright side and think about the fact that there are more woke people than there have ever been in the past. All right? And as long as we keep these conversations up and you keep sharing the videos and everything like that, then we're going to keep seeing the progress that we've made amongst the collective conscience of the country. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, find your balance. Peace.